Feature Friday.
The freshest.
Bam, ba bam, ba 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 bam. Oh, sorry, wrong one. What is this one? The Disney? No, you don't have to
Oh,
take
sorry.
it back. What's the Disney one?
No.
No?
I forget. Well, I forget.
I don't know, but it begins like this, and this is...
You know?
Well, this is how BTS...
Maybe not.
This is how BTS made their album. I think it's B.
Huh?
So you guys know we love sort of the behind the scenes stuff. I don't think this stuff gets as much attention as it should.
I agree.
Because it's literally the making of the most successful artist in the last, well, arguably ever. So there are,
arguably ever.
yeah, numbers wise,
I
arguably,
agree.
genuinely.
It's like, who hurt you?
No one. Just saying. I think that's actually a fact, which is fucking nuts.
I'm gonna cry in a corner now.
Why?
Thank you. That was so aggressive.
Well, maybe are they more popular? Have they sold more than someone like Justin Bieber?
They
would imagine, right?
they beat the Beatles.
Yeah, but you gotta
And they were
understand.
like, wow.
You gotta understand with the Beatles, it's also the Beatles basically had everything against them in terms of technology.
Oh, good point.
But
I don't know.
I think the way they calculated it, it's probably relative to what BTS has done. You know what I mean? Because they like the numbers that they have done right now is fucking ridiculous. So there wasn't even that many people alive yet during the Beatles.
That's a very good point.
Yeah. So, anyways, this is how they made one of the most successful albums. So let's give it a watch. Ah, that's it. And it's like Tinkerbell, right?
Oh yeah. Is it?
I don't know.
멤버들끼리 하는 그 1차 회의에
For visuals.
Okay, nice.
1차 회의. 일단은 제가 뭐 일단 간단한 소개를 시작해야지. 소개를 해줘요.
Yeah, feel free to do that.
Mr. Boss.
이번에 비주얼 총괄을
Interesting.
Yay!
아미분들에게 이제 좀 더 멋있는 자켓 앨범과
Right, because B was their
스타일링 뭐
How's it been
전체적으로
styling on that?
아미분들에게
was all self-made.
멋있게 가려고 이렇게 맡아봤습니다.
This was a gift to the world.
Project manager, right?
그리고 이제 이 두 분은 이제 아무래도 제가 생각했을 때 가장 옷을 정말
Yeah, I like a lot of J-Hope's fashion.
자주
좋아.
이제 다양하게 입는 거를 되게 많이 도전하고.
But that's such a good choice of V being the visual manager.
Well, he does. Him and Jungkook have really. They're very visual people. They get a lot of stimuli through visual.
Stimulus.
Yeah, so there's a lot of creativity that comes from the first visual impact. I've noticed it in a lot of the things they do separately, even the way they approach certain performances and how they approach choreography learning and stuff like that. You can really tell when somebody is a visual person.
Artist,
yeah, because especially from the dancer people, we tend to be more visually inclined, or we can watch and learn rather than having to physically put yourself in the position of learning the sequence of movements. You can watch them and kind of like let them marinate, and you'll be able to do them later on. So there is that natural stimuli there, but the way they approach making music and performing, to me it's very clear that some of them are very visual oriented. But
Because I would say, like, yeah, probably for fashion, to lead a fashion project, I think probably V is perhaps the best choice out of everyone in BTS. I think also when
J-Hope, I think, is...
Well, I was about to say, if it comes to street fashion, I think perhaps some of the best street fashion that I've enjoyed comes from J-Hope's wardrobe.
I actually think J-Hope, it's a really cool mixture of high-end fashion, making it accessible and wearable, you know?
In that Louis Vuitton kind of like collaboration they did. My favorite outfits were for sure J-Hope's.
Yeah.
You know?
스타일링 자체를 조금 맡아주셨으면 하는 바에 제가
Just look at the admiration when they speak to each other, like especially when they speak to RM. Like,
yeah,
fuck.
they respect each other so much.
컨셉 좋아했지? 맞습니다.
소위 말해서 그렇지.
별별 옷을 다 입었죠.
솔직히 다들
날개도 있고.
공감을 할 거야. 좀 편하게 찍어보고 싶다라는 거를
난 늘 그랬어 사실.
상상을
That's
해봤을
probably
거야.
멤버들이 의견이 많이 반영되되 좀 일상적이고 좀 편한 거.
Okay.
Yeah.
힘좀 빼고.
Well, that was
그런
the-
거 아니야?
맞아요.
지금 약간 시기도 그렇고 그런 게 잘 맞을 것 같긴 해.
Yeah,
그래서
yeah, yeah.
이번 컨셉을 그냥 무거운 느낌이 아니라 자켓 촬영이라고 하면은 딱딱딱 이게 아니라 정말 우리가 여행 가든
Yeah,
It's more
great.
continuous.
여기
예를 들면
옆에서
드라이브를 하든 뭐.
정말 필요한
We can have RM driver. Oh, hold on. That's no license.
우리가 각자의 방을 드로잉부터 시작해서 꾸며서 각자의 방 세트를 각자가 한번 꾸며보면
Nice.
난
So
그런 거 같아.
yeah,
옷도
they were really involved in
예를
everything.
들면 나는 멜빵을 좋아하니까 뭐 그것도 그려가지고 사람을 각자 그려서 뭐
Cool.
Does RM draw? Right?
Like a blueprint, yeah.
뭐 갈색 멜빵 바지 뭐 비니 썼으면 좋겠고 그래서 한 짝이랑 그 방 정도는 우리가 만약에 꾸며서
좋아요.
그 세트들 이렇게 해서 꾸며보면
차요.
추워요.
Sure.
그런 느낌으로.
이런 식으로 몇 가지 하고 싶은 그런 뭐 씬이나 혹은
But it's a very minimalistic video, more sort of normal, more humane, right?
But I think that was the whole. I think that's what they communicated really.
Early on.
No, what they communicated really easily. The fact that it was everybody's. It was accessible for everybody. Like it made it feel very relatable, given the world circumstances at that point. It was a very bleak situation, still is. But I think at that point, the world as a whole were all
Come to a
collided in.
halt.
Yeah, and it had collided in this really doom and gloom atmosphere. So it made it really, like, the music video really felt like there wasn't any type of barriers that made them different from us.
Yeah.
So I think that relatability aspect was very tangible in the music video. So it's
I
really
noticed in the conversations like this, it's obviously, now it's obvious that was genuinely their objective.
which is really cool because you never get to see the brainstorming aspect of this.
Of videos,
this, yeah,
fucking never, mate.
ever.
Especially in the Korean industry. It's
I
very,
wonder
very
where they got all this footage from. This is really cool.
live.
You think so?
각자가
don't know.
하루를 어떻게 보는지를 컨셉화해서
네.
뭐 일어나는 거막이 닫고 이런 건 비슷할 거 아니야? 밥 먹고
That's
이런 거.
right.
그런 거 공통된
See
거
that
각자
relatability
각자
aspect
그냥
that-
그렇게 해서 쭉 만약에 하루처럼 만들어보는 거 어떨까?
마이크를 잡고 막 신나게 뛰어넘는 장면을 진짜 약간 필름 카메라
Totally making it feel.
약간 홈파스.
생각하면 또 재미있을 것 같긴 하다라는
공연하고 싶은 욕망을 대신 홈파티로 예를 뭐 홈공연으로
Yeah, see, it was this really.
좋아?
뭔가
좋아?
되게 그런 것도 해보고 싶긴 하더라고. 진짜 청바지에 되게 루즈한 흰티 같은.
아니 사실 나도 그래.
내가
운동화처럼.
내가 아이디어 낸 거 하나 중에 그 우리가 정말 집에서나 하면은 그냥 되게 심심하잖아요.
See that they took every aspect into consideration.
만약에 내가 이렇게 있어요 집안에서 이렇게
Good.
있어요. 그러면은 셀레판지 같은 거 있잖아요. 그걸 앨범에 하나 넣고 여기에다가 그림을 그려놓는 거예요.
Okay.
꽃을 그려놓을 수도 있고 뭐
이렇게 겹쳐지는
이렇게 되는 거죠. 만약에 될 거면 이렇게 되면은
See, he's so
여기 있는
visual.
이게 추가적으로 돼가지고 셀레판지 때문에
He sees these things before he even talks about them, right? So
오브제처럼
약간 그런 느낌.
아니 뭐 하나씩 한 명마다 하나씩
한 명마다 하나씩.
But drawn by the member, right?
공연하고 싶으면 뭐 이렇게 찍은 다음에
네, 이렇게 마이크가 돼 있고
이렇게 할 수도 있고
that's really cool.
콘서트가 돼 있고 근데 이건 멤버가 각자가 그렸던
Oh my
거를
god, it,
그런 식으로
it's so
하는 게 의미가
no.
있는 것
네,
같아요.
그렇죠.
그 DIY처럼 약간 우리 손이 좀 그러니까 좀
대학생 로봇 대학생 로봇.
He's still stuck with like.
We only have one college student. Well,
That's Jungkook.
well, the other, I wonder what he's studying actually.
Oh, I don't know.
Another interesting point, obviously, and it's kind of like it's awesome to be able to see the behind the scenes of this, but something that you can sometimes tell by the end product, it's how much thought from the performers themselves, especially in the Korean industry, which seems to be mostly led by the label, and I think BTS are an anomaly, as well as some soloists which really take care of their own work. I mean, Jackson is another example, Jackson Wang.
I think a really great example of
Monster
that
X is also a good example of it, especially
as
in
a
their
group,
latest album.
yeah. But as a soloist, Kang Daniel really surprises me with
Well, it's
his
actually very fucking
creativity.
personal. His work.
It's all his.
It feels like you're in
His head.
No, you're in like invading a bit. You're like intrusive because
Yeah.
it's so truly
It's so personal.
his
yeah.
demons or his achievements.
Yeah.
But you can truly tell when an artist it's heavily involved, and I can truly tell, and I think a lot of you guys can as well. I think more people than this label sometimes think. You can really tell when an artist is detached from their final product, and it's just a product that they have made with the label but didn't have that much creative output. I think an example like that comes to head is sometimes some of like if you look at like GOT7's the subdivision, was it Jing Young and JB, I think they had a lot of control. They had like that subdivision in GOT7.
Wasn't it Yugimyeon and JB?
Maybe. Like they had that really good song which
Focus.
right, I think that's what it was, and they had a lot of creative control.
Yeah, well, they weren't. Everything was self-made.
Still on the JYP, but it was
Yeah.
they had basically all of it, and you could tell just how much it represented them and their quirkiness and their ability to create visual projects. And then perhaps you could see in other projects how it had to be an agglomeration of all the members into one thing, and it had to represent an idea that also came from above. So it's truly very interesting now, also knowing that a lot of these guys have openly spoken about it, and having people like BTS share their process of creating as idols in their biggest label at the moment. It's you can really tell by the final product that it represents their vision, and not the vision of maybe an executive.
Of course, and I actually think the final product of B as a visual product, as the video that we got, was very clear, was very tangible, was very...
The objective of it.
Yeah, the objective, and you could see how connected they were right from the start, from the announcement of this album to the post-production and delivery of it. The whole process, they were so adamant and advocate for it to be out there, and I think that's when you realize how personal these artists actually take their tasks. And I think with BTS, like you said, they're an anomaly though. They're the exception of the rule. They're not the rule.
But I think that they've made that happen themselves.
Absolutely.
In the sense of, I think they always wanted.
I think they have always had a lot of creative control over a lot of the things they do.
Yeah, sure, but
it's right from the beginning.
I mean, I think they kind of always were a black sheep.
I agree.
Since the beginning.
Yeah.
And I think that's why they had to encounter a lot of difficulty at the start. But so perhaps it's no wonder that they are the biggest or an anomaly, the exception of the rule. But go on.
They've definitely worked their way to be where they are today, in all sense of the word.
And they were a risky idea to begin with. You know?
Absolutely.
이거 우리가 일단은 무조건 필름 카메라 한 명씩 있고 사전에 이제 더욱더
I love J-Hope. He's always happy.
에게 그거를 배우는 거예요. 그리고 어느 정도 하는 거고.
그리고 어쨌거나 좀 어렵잖아 카메라가. 맞아 이게 초점이 나가지고 그대로.
Autofocus.
웃기가 어떻게 돼?
That would be hilarious.
일단 너를 찍었는데 뭐해?
It's very easy to tell.
좀 얘기해야 되는
Jin looks like he came out of the shower.
앨범 주제 뭐
He does.
음악 복수 그리고 뭐 단체 명곡할지 유닛 명곡할지 그리고 원하는 음악 스타일은
See, I love how they're all involved in everything.
원하는 앨범 주제가 있는지 주제라기보다는 나는 그냥 전체적으로 좀 어둡지 않았고 나도 그 생각인데 뭔가
Yeah.
구체적으로
It's a good idea. That was a good idea.
제목이 오음이었잖아.
Yeah.
그래서 이제 라이프 고즈 언으로 이제 받을 수가 있.
That's great. See, the whole idea.
Life goes on.
먼저 생각한 거는 뭐 사실 어쨌든 뭐가 커지든 바깥에서 무슨 일이 일어나든 간에 어쨌든 사람들의 삶은 이제 계속.
That's true. See that.
이거였는데 약간 좀.
불특정 다수에 대해서 이유를 주는 그런 뭐.
And that's where wow, I feel like I'm intruding into really something special out here. Wow.
Feels like private family videos.
It feels like I shouldn't be sharing this with the world. Like it feels really intimate. It's like this is the light bulb moment. This is when they said this is a gift to the people.
Well, I think
That's nuts.
I think also I perhaps it wasn't a gift. It was more of a yeah, a realization of, regardless of achievements and good moments and difficult moments, things will continue, and even if this seems like the worst time, it isn't, and music carries on, and there will be
Time
art.
will continue
And
passing.
it was more, I think, that idea. I think it's obviously a gift. A lot of the fans, they perceive it as, because it wasn't planned at all, you know, and at least it wasn't on their schedule. They did this out of their own willingness to do so. So that's fucking unbelievable.
Yeah, they really took
Their love for the craft,
yeah.
I guess, and their love for their fans as well, and wanting to share an idea of hope, because they also know the magnitude that they are. So,
Well, I actually think that they're so aware of the impact they have in a lot of people that I believe this whole concept was of a it wasn't about comfort or providing comfort or reassurance. It was more about letting everyone know that everyone was going through the same. Like, it was a shift of perspective. Like, it didn't matter whether you were famous or you're not.
No, we're just
Everybody
normal
had
people.
everybody had to take the same go under the same regulations. Everybody, there was a moment of equality in that aspect of the world in those moments. So
we
I
eat,
think
we brush our teeth, we go to
exactly
sleep. It's
we
boring
have to be
sometimes.
at home, we have to do certain things a certain way, and so I think a lot of those limitations kind of like were binding us together as a unity in the world, right? So I think like that aspect was more this album was more of a shift of perspective, you know, like
Change of pace.
exactly. And
The world had changed. Paced.
that's right.
Pace, sorry, not paced.
캘리언이 제일 그 짧게 그
See?
모든
Yeah.
위로의 의미를 그냥 간결하게 캘리언으로 딱 맞춘 것 같은.
계속 갖고 왔나 보네.
Mm-hmm. See, a shift of perspective. Yeah.
위로를 하는 말도 캘리언이랑 너무 잘 어울리죠.
Mm-hmm.
난 캘리언 되게 마음에 들어.
I love to see them in this environment.
직접적으로 위로가 되는 말을 했을 때 그게 기분이 더 안 좋을 수도 있는 거라서.
이 세 개는 이 전에 했으니까.
넷셋이 묻는 게 아니라 랩 하나 보컬 둘 랩 둘 이렇게.
어른아이 드리프티 다시.
Jenny's like,
We should leave the
okay.
past in the past.
단체곡 5곡은 좀 많은 것 같고.
내 둘이 제일 좋은 밸런스.
아니면 이럴 수 있어.
See, they even think about how many tracks. It's cool.
야 스킵, 야 요즘 우리 스킵 안 했잖아. 허하나 스킵.
Let's do a skit. Oh, they really enjoy doing skits. That's nice.
옛날 생각도 나고.
스킵 안 하면
7 songs.
7곡인 거잖아요.
Oh wow, we even
how
see the
cool.
production.
Oh my god, where did they get this footage? This is golden. Yes, sir.
Bloody hell! So they were really this involved.
Yeah, everything was self-made. I read it when it came out, but yeah, you never know at what magnitude.
작업을 한 곡들을 모아서 회사에 이렇게 저희는 이런 것들
Okay.
Okay, see.
보내놓은 상태예요. 저 멤버들 다 엄청 많이 작업을 했고 저도 이제 두세 곡 만들어서
Nice.
I didn't know Jimmy was this involved in the making of something.
잘안
Thank
돼서
you, Marvel. Come on.
멤버들이 너무 좋은 음악들을 많이 만들어서 보내주셔가지고 혼자서 이제 여기에 딱 앉아가지고 막 새벽 4시까지 해보고 막 그랬었거든요. 사실 뭐
He sounds like the nicest guy ever. This
I
guy.
know, he's so sweet.
이런 곡은 어때 딱 이 정도 상황인 것 같고
어떤 걸 찍을 거예요?
Getting cameras for the photo shoots.
이게 찍는 게 자켓의 일부에 그냥 되게 자연스러운 스냅들을 같이 찍는 거
Nice,
아니에요?
nice.
메이킹을 찍는다고 생각하시면 될 것 같아요.
너희가 메이킹을 찍는 거야?
저희가 저희들의 메이킹을 찍어주는
서로.
뭐 그런 그래서 그런 거를 이제
그게 이제 앨범 몇 개.
시간제 찍어주신 사진이랑 같이 대화하는 그런
Nice top. It's like Bart Simpson.
소리
Oh, that sounds good. I freaking love
He's
J-Hope.
such a happy guy.
He gets excited about everything.
Dude, I love what J-Hope is wearing. That off-white top is fucking sick.
The whole outfit.
That's what I mean. That type of street fashion, but designer. I love how he's like hand in his pocket, just.
Yeah, he's like.
인스타 카메라가 아닌
Spawn because it's not digital.
바로 확인하고 바로 확인하고.
All right, true.
Yeah, yeah,
You don't
yeah.
know,
You have
right?
to film. Yeah, it's a film. You have to reveal the film.
Who's that, Yoongi?
No.
요 부분이랑
Yeah, I think so.
Sugar likes bucket hats a lot.
So that's Jungkook. I thought it was Jungkook.
Oh.
예윤호와 여기 스테이는 목이 좀 땡땡하게 잘 나올 때 한 번만
I think it's Jungkook, bro.
하면 될것 같은데 한 번만 더
Or no?
오늘은
Can't
그걸
tell.
해봤자 안 나올 수도 있을 것 같아서 굳이 힘들게 하지는 않고 될것 같아.
Oh, so this came out before this. What?
Yeah, I think it was Jungkook.
네네네. 네? 근데 가사가 그 뒤에 바뀌었다고 했는데 그 바뀐 가사가 어디 있죠?
바뀌었대? 나 처음 듣는 얘긴데.
That's news to me.
I wanna say yeah 이거 I wanna say yeah 이렇게
아 그렇게 할게.
yeah 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 이렇게 하면 뭐가 되게 좋을 것 같거든요. 예 진성을
아 진짜로 할게.
그예 이거 예 이거 지금 메인 아닌 거죠?
메인 아니지.
그죠.
해야지.
그죠.
That's Jin's part.
이거
Right?
이제 그 PD님이 그 저기
Oh, I love that studio. Look how cool the freaking studio is, bro.
다시 해야 되지 않아요?
아니 그냥 있을 건데.
아 진짜요?
Oh, I love when they do that.
아
알겠습니다. 수고하셨습니다.
네.
So, Sammy.
근데 나는 그냥 골든 플로 대표는 그 종국이
Jungkook's golden closet things, yeah.
그러니까 이게
That's very nice to see them talk about that as well,
Yeah,
right? 'Cause
yeah, yeah.
I think they're great videos what Jungkook does. The golden
Closet, yeah.
golden closet gold, they're fucking unbelievable. I think it's really good for them to do that. Obviously, it's fucking work, but I think maybe if he can outsource it, you know, with someone from Hype, just edit it for me.
It takes away from the experience, though. I feel what makes it so
Does he edit
candid.
himself?
Yeah, what makes it so candid is that he directs, films, and edits all of the footage himself. So I find that that's the charm behind it, because you're really getting, and I think that's what the whole charm of this album was, that it was so freaking them. Everything was self-produced, self-made. They're pitching ideas. They're the ones that are coming up with the packaging and post-production. They're the ones involved in everything, and they're brainstorming the whole as much involvement as they could possibly have. And I think that's what made it so candid, such a, you know, it's so charming, and it holds up value in a different
truly
way.
him.
Yeah, it's his vision from everything.
Yeah, you can carry a selfie
yeah,
still,
yeah.
right?
그렇게 해주고 옷을 꼭 정서가 되게 그러해서 그 우리끼리 막 이렇게 찍고 하는
Fair enough.
감성이 느껴지잖아요.
That's an interesting point.
하루 갔다 온 다음에 그냥 위로
Yeah, I think.
담아버리고 그걸 슬로우 걸어서 해버리면 그냥 노래랑 잘 익을 것 같은데 나는. 아니면 진짜
I love how they're all eating and they're all thinking, I love this type of footage, man.
스튜디오 흰색 스튜디오 같은데 하나 빌려가지고 내가 그렇게 영상처럼 이렇게 찍으면서 약간 그 리릭을
Ooh, that's a good idea.
이제 약간 탭이 해가지고 약간 약간 그리고 스튜디오에 이렇게 딱 있고 고정키만 두고 뭐 나와서
They're so focused on the food and they're all listening. That's so cool.
홍보해지 인터뷰 찍었던 약간 그런데 딴데 섭외해가지고 하루 있어버리거든. 하면 돼. 사실 난 그게 베스트라고 보면.
So they rented like an Airbnb?
그냥 그래서 같이 그게 만약에 사진을 보고 그냥 조이 뽑고 이거를 처음부터 쭉까지 찾아보고 이런 거를 그냥 쭉.
Yeah, right. So that's what they stuck with.
사실 뮤비 스케줄도 어떻게 보면 이틀 정도 뺄 수는
You have 2 days. So,
의견들을 일단 전담하고 프로그램으로 가능할지 모르겠지만 우리 의견이 있었으면 나를 얘기할까요?
Right, of course.
fair enough.
좀 그림을 갖고 싶다라는 얘기를까지 했었어요. 세 가지. 일단은 첫 번째는 지금 관객이 없는 거.
Yeah,
Right, because they go to the empty.
yeah.
우리가 집에서의 그냥 일상생활 지금 나가시는 거 우리가 나오는 일상생활들. 그리고 세 번째는
Reminisce in the past.
그냥 과거 회상이죠.
So they approved all the ideas, basically.
Yeah, basically we saw the whole journey.
이런 거 몰아야 되는 내를 보여주는 거지. 뭐 노는 거는 내가 찍어주고 얘는 우리가 찍어주고
I love it. So,
우리가 이벤트 그걸로 다른 영상을 나간 적이 있는데 멤버들이 찍은 영상을 모아서
he had already made footage. Okay.
약간 그런 느낌인데 좀더
Or similar
Okay.
to it.
All right. Okay.
Fandoms.
Go on.
You fucking hell. You know, I want to see the comments of that real fast. Go on.
Yeah, sure.
See what people are saying. liking BTS was the best decision ever. Hope he's right. I find it really cool how Big Hit gives BTS so much artistic freedom over their work. But I think this one was probably like they gave probably more creative control than usual.
I would think
Because
so
I think
too.
the whole project they had all the
I
creative
think
control.
it was. I think the initial idea was brought to them was brought to the directives from BTS. I think the whole from the members themselves. I think they came up with this idea first before any of the brainstorming happened. So I think that's where the whole creative freedom comes
So I
from.
think that's essentially as well like what a lot of fans want as well, just their favorite artists from the Korean industry writing and producing their own thing, you know.
Being as unfiltered and as creative as possible.
Yeah, and
absolutely.
I think we are seeing a shift where that's happening more than it did before. Certainly, well, I think that's probably an accurate statement. Definitely more now than it was before 10
I
years ago.
agree.
Especially seeing like the first generation and second generation K-pop, how it's evolved. And you know, you get people like Temin, right, who are essentially what second generation, right, Shiny.
Yeah.
And he's prevailed until now, and he's got
He's
some of the
creative.
most personalized, creative control over his own work out of.
Or I would say a lot of his
Yeah.
a lot of his ideas come through.
It would be interesting, I think, to sort of see that discussion or have a discussion of sort of a first generation idol from the 90s or 2000s, and then the change of the industry.
And their perspective of what it is now. Yeah, it would be really
I don't want to spoil what's coming to the podcast, but it's very cool. I know, like in Feature Friday Plus, there's been a lot of guests from different industries, a lot of artists from the Philippines, and a lot of people from the Filipino industry. That's obviously gonna keep going, as it's one of our favorite industries. But we are, you know, especially in the Korean industry, it's just a bit harder because of the language barrier to sort of have guests come in, and we have to translators and try and find that in. But we are finally figuring it out, which is very good, and that means more sort of idols as guests and Korean producers as guests and stuff like that. So that's fun. And this will happen with every industry. It's just always a matter of figuring out the language barrier issue.
It's more of a logistics problem than it is of finding people are willing to do it. Like, I think it's more logistics than anything else.
Because there are some Korean artists that speak English.
Yeah.
But, you know, they're also, you know, I don't know, they might, like, they're fucking ridiculously famous. But yeah, so do let us know maybe what else would you check out next.
This type of footage is absolutely golden, and I know you guys know that how much we love seeing this behind the scenes footage. And of course, any other group apart from BTS that you've got any behind the scenes footage from anywhere around the world, leave it down in the comments below and we will check it out.
Goodbye.
Bye.